What's going on, guys? Rob with 3STRONG here. Today I have different protein sources because I want to talk about the rate of digestion. Each protein source has a different rate which it is broken down, and the structure or consistency of these proteins will let you know how fast or slow it's going to be broken down. It's the same thing if you have raw vegetables versus cooked vegetables. The way that it's prepared and the consistency of it before you even put it in your mouth is going to let you know. So say I have a raw carrot, something that's crunchy, it's going to take my body a little bit longer to process that than say a steamed, smushy vegetable. It's already broken down, so it's going to digest a little faster. Well, we can use that same thing with these different kinds of protein sources. So an egg, even when we cook this egg, you could break it down, you can crumble it in your hands. However you prepare this egg, it's still a fairly kind of loose food. It's a very breakable food, and so this is going to digest much faster in our system than say something like chicken, which is a little bit more solid. But if we look at chicken, I can still break this down. Even if I just throw chicken on the grill, I can still kind of break it up. It's fairly easy, but it's going to take a little bit longer to digest than this egg. And then we have something like Riley, chill out. So then we have something like this beef here, and a lot of times when you cook beef, it's really tough. It's hard to cut through. Even when it's prepared really well, it is still a lot more solid than say this chicken or this egg. Why is this important? Well, because it lets you know when to have these foods throughout the day. And not that you have to have each one of these foods, but depending on your goals, depending on what your schedule is, depending on what your workout schedule is, picking one of these proteins over the other may be a little bit better. And one thing that I actually don't have, because I want to go with whole foods, is protein powders. Protein powders, very, very fine. You can dissolve them in water. That's usually what we mix it with. And so that's why they're so popular for a pre- and post-workout shake, because if you want something that is going to be digested as fast as possible, get into your system as fast as possible, something like a powder is the best way to do that. However, in terms of fullness, how full you feel after you eat it, since it's digesting quickly, it's not going to satisfy you for as long. So just consuming protein powder all day long isn't the best way to go. Having something like an egg will be a little bit better, but if you really want to feel fuller, you want something that is going to last longer. But even if you go on the far end of the spectrum here, a little bit tougher, a little bit harder to digest, something like beef, well, if you're consistently working out, this thing's going to sit in your stomach for hours, and that might not make you feel too good. So having something like a chicken, that's why chicken, to be perfectly honest, is kind of the go-to. Eggs and chicken are the go-to for bodybuilders and a lot of athletes, because it's a high-quality protein source. It keeps you full, keeps you satisfied, but it's not going to sit in your stomach, so that when you go and train, you're not going to be slowed down by this. One of the things that you can try is that as I like to work out in the morning, so something like an egg is going to is not going to sit in my stomach and slow me down, and then maybe something like lunch, as I'm still active, would be chicken, and then perhaps for dinner I would go with a beef source, because then once I go to bed, I need that protein source that's going to digest over a longer period of time. So, like I said, depending on your training schedule, depending on what you're doing throughout the day, is going to dictate what protein source should I use, so I get my protein, but just having the food in my gut doesn't affect my training, doesn't affect my daily life. Okay, guys? Hopefully that information is useful, so the next time you look at your protein source, think, how long is this going to be sitting on my belly, and is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay, guys? See you tomorrow.